Coming up on today's show, Kim Artlip from Ignite Wrestling is on the show. She's been unboxing new titles and t-shirts, and ahead of the upcoming Ignite Fierce show at Walking Tree Brewery, we're talking everything Ignite on this 88th episode of the Daily Wrestling News Show. This is the Daily Wrestling News for April 30th, 2021. We are powered by the Eastern Observer. My name is Ryan Joy, and I'm coming to you live from Minutes to Bell Time Studios on the beautiful Treasure Coast of the Sunshine State. And right up the street is Kim Artlip from Ignite Wrestling. Kim, welcome to the show.
Howdy, neighbor. We really are actually fairly close to each other, which I think is really cool. It's good to be back. 88 shows. Congrats.
Thank you. We're coming up on 100. It's I was not going to celebrate it, but my wife's like, you need to take the milestone and do something with it. So
take the milestone. I just hit a milestone, and I didn't even know it. 3,000. We hit 3,000 on YouTube. We hit 6,500 on Twitter today. So
wow, congrats! Big milestones. And Kim, you have purple hair now. You didn't have purple hair when I saw you.
I had to. I got bored. And usually at showtime, I get a haircut or I collar it, and I was in a rut. And your wife will understand that. And you know, sometimes you just need something different. And my husband said, "Go purple," which I've had purple streaks before, but I scare myself in the middle of the night and I go to pee or something. I'll catch my reflection and kind of double take. But it's fun. It's fun.
Well, we haven't had a chance to talk since the 5th anniversary show, at least not on over here. So I guess I want to. Well, and you know what? I know it's really important to you to know that people left with like specific memories and moments and things like that. So I did want to share with you that my wife and I still talk about the guy getting beer thrown in his face at the bar at the end of the show. So
that's Dylan. That's Dylan. He's one of the bartenders. He just recently did the Mullet Fest at Walking Tree to raise money for St. Baldrick's. And he said, I would love it if one of the wrestlers would interact with me. And I was just like, and I asked a couple of them, and they're like, no, we don't do this. We don't do that. And I went to Ellie and I was like, Ellie, could you be an asshole, please? She goes, yeah, no problem.
Well, it was an awesome moment, and completely unexpected because
I didn't know. And she threw the glass, and it was a glass, and thank God it didn't break. But their social media girl just caught the end of it. So you saw this video where it just went.
Well, it was a perfect ending to the show for sure. Yeah. But I guess, how did you feel like the 5th anniversary show went? It was the first one that you ran during the pandemic era. And I'm just curious how you felt it went.
13 changes on the card. It was a new locker room. It was a lot of protocols we had to do, a lot of temperature checks. We weren't sure if anybody was even going to walk in the door, but I didn't cry. I usually cry on milestones, and I was like so excited, and especially with that match with Kylan King and Leon Scott, which wasn't the original match. It was like the 3rd or 4th incarnation of that match. And that's one of my favorite matches I think we've ever done. And Aaron Nova, having Captain Aaron Nova debut. And, there was a lot of really cool moments that I really, really loved about that show, because everybody just jumped in and, this isn't what I asked you to do, but can you do this? And everybody, like jumped in and gave 120%.
It was the first Ignite show that I had gone to, and when I walked away, I thought, man, each and every person had such personality on that show. I mean, I think the opening contest was the Aaron Nova match, and he had a ball of energy and just very funny.
Jared Diaz, the Bodega Boy, and Captain Aaron Nova, and I'm in the back, and I'm like, you're really the bad guy, but you stole the whole match from poor Jared Diaz. But when he started that dancing and wiggling around, I was just dying because
absolutely.
I only know him from social media. So getting in the locker room with some of these guys and not realizing how high energy they are, it was hysterical. And he was supposed to leave immediately to go to another show, but he stayed. He stayed and watched the whole show, and then went to Grind. Is it called Grind Time? Grind something in Sarasota. I just know it's a new company. I think it was their first or second show, but he was having so much fun he wouldn't leave, and it's like you have to go.
Well, I wanted to ask you also about, I don't think we talked about it on the last show, but Walking Tree Brewery, what a great venue. I mean, that was, it's, the lighting is so great. It's really comfortable to be there. Nothing mixes with wrestling better than a good beer. So.
Food trucks and beer and open and a high ceiling. That was, what was funny was we went to a place called the IG Center in South Vero, run by the county. It's uber expensive. And we ended up, I went to Sebastian Chamber. I need an 18-foot ceiling. And they're like, well, there's a brewery like a mile from your house, which I didn't even know it was there. And we've been there 3 years. This is our 10th. This will be our 10th show at Walking Tree coming up May 15th.
Yeah, and it is really a great venue, and it looks so beautiful on camera with the lights and everything. And see the. Wait
till you see what they've done. Now they've backlit all the brewery tanks, and they have a whole new canning section because now they do canned beers, and it's all lit in like blues and purples and reds, and it's just beautiful. Plus all they have the overhead lights and the because I was just there Tuesday night. I was there Tuesday night playing trivia, and we actually have a new ring announcer, and you're getting to hear this. The guy that runs their trivia from JD Sound Productions, Doolin Dalton, and he does trivia and bingo there. So he's going to step in, and it was like a big shock to the brewery. We're like, oh, by the way, we're going to borrow your trivia guys. And he's going to come on because we were going to have Phil Stamper, but Phil, his day job is with a college. He works at one of the universities up in Virginia. They're having their graduation the night before, so he can't make it from graduation to Florida in time. So Doolin's fantastic, and he's going to step in.
Well, that'll be fun. That'll be fun to have that sort of commingling or whatever. But yeah, so to your 10th show there, Fierce is what's coming up, and we're going to get to that before too long. But there's so much stuff to talk to you about, and so much stuff that you've been doing on social media.
I've been busy.
In the background of your picture of your screen there, we have 3. Actually, there's 5 actual title belts, but we can only see 3. So, I guess what caused you to basically redo the titles?
It was a growth thing. We were going to do it a year ago, and COVID happened, and the world shut down, and we put the brakes on a lot of stuff. And I wanted to. I love them to death, and they're here somewhere. Oh, here they are. Wait, they're behind me. This was originally going to be the women's tag belt.
Yep.
And I love mirror belts. They were great. They were an affordable start for us, but it's hard to be taken seriously, and I'll say this politely. It's hard to be taken seriously by people in the sport when you have $110 belt. $110. It didn't look like we took ourselves seriously. So it was time to actually, change the belt, embrace who we are. I mean, we're freaking Ignite, it's time for us to step out. And Leon Scott, well, he changed his name. He's now Leon Ravage. Leon had a guy that does belts. Leon introduced me to this guy named Salman Khan from Pakistan. He did our belts. Well, he did the first belt. I cried for like 3 days after I got the belt. And so I decided, it's time. The tag team tournament's coming up. If I'm going to do a women's tag tourney, and I'm going to go to all this and bring in these amazing women, and we can talk about that shortly, we need to have something that's worthy of them, not a belt that's been sitting in my closet for 2 years waiting for a champion.
It's interesting. I was going to mention to you that the last time we spoke, that title that you had just picked up was on the shelf back there.
Yes.
And that's a title that has never been worn by anybody. It's like the missing belt, right? Like
what happened was, and here's the story. We ordered the belts in 2018, 2019. Well, we got the tag belts. Maybe it was 2019. I don't know. I've lost a whole year is gone in my head now. When we got the tag belts for and Tech won the tournament,
Mhm.
what happened was they sent us the wrong belts. They sent us these beautiful purple belts.
Mhm.
I didn't order purple belts. I
Wow.
ordered black straps. So I called the guys up and I said, "Hey, listen, purple's not our color." Yeah, of course. Yeah, purple's not our color. It was supposed to be black belts, and I said, "I just need the straps. I can swap them out." And they said, "You know what? We're really sorry." They sent me a complete new set of belts, plates, and everything.
Oh, wow.
I've had these sittings since the week before the show that we crowned our men's title, and that was 2 years ago. So they've been sitting around for like 2.5 years waiting, because they don't even say women, they just say tag team.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been waiting, and I wanted to do it before, and I had people that I shouldn't have listened to, and I'll say that nicely. I shouldn't have listened to people. I had people that say you don't need that many champions, and nobody wants to watch women. And I was like, no, we need to have a women's tag champion, and we need we need to feature women. So when we came back, when we came back in 2020, our two main events were women.
Yes.
I'm tired of being told that women can't draw. I'm tired of being told that women can't do stuff. Because hey, newsflash, I'm a woman. And, so if I'm gonna do this, I've had a year to prepare. I've had a year to save up. I've had a year to decide and plan. Just like when I started the company, I spent a year before I started the company deciding what I wanted to be. And I'm back to what I want to do, and I'm not listening to other people. This is my company, and it's going to be my way.
Well, I want to bring up something that I noticed in your unboxing video, and it might be a small point to some people, but
What did I do?
No. It's something about the belt. So the men's tag team belts says men's tag team on it.
Yes.
And that may seem like a minor thing to some people, but the fact of the matter is that in every major company, it's the tag team belts and then the women's tag team belts, or the champion and the women's champion. And I think it's really interesting and cool that you have men's tag team and women's tag team. I think that's a small point, but it's very meaningful, I think.
I know somebody's going to have a problem with it, and they're going to say, but what if because you do intergender? There may be an intergender belt at some point. Yeah, but no, I'm kind of old school. It's men's and women's for now. And if people don't like my pronoun, I'm sorry. Because I had somebody say it should have been just tag team. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, but no, it's a women's tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But I guess the point I was making is that often it takes, the men's belt takes priority, or the men's division takes priority, and the women's has to say women's, but the men's never says men's. Yours say both. And
what really kills me about, and I'm going to say this, and people may not like it, I hate the women's belts that look like toys.
Yeah.
And they're divas and sirens and foxes and vixens and shit. They're wrestlers.
Right.
They are tag team champions. It doesn't need to have jewels and bedazzle and sparkles, and it doesn't have to be pink. My colors are red and black. Black is women, or black is men, red is women.
There you go.
But this dummying down of the women's division is just total crap. Because I see the way they train. I see what they can do. And, I watched Kylan King in that match with Leon Ravage. And, I've seen the stuff that these girls do. And I've been to the training schools when they're working out together. So you can't tell me that women aren't as good in the sport and work as hard as a man.
Yeah.
Because they not only have to work as hard, but they have to look damn good doing it.
True.
and worry about a wardrobe malfunction the whole time they work. And men don't have to worry about that, because they can just throw a t-shirt on.
Well, another one of your projects that you've been since we last spoke is Ignite Rewind. And as I think back at the first episode, you had Leo Rush versus Desmond Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
And my gosh, if people don't know, Desmond Xavier is Wesley, right?
Yes.
From NXT, current NXT tag team champion. And Lio Rush is the champion of everything, it seems like. So, I mean, it's just so interesting when you take a look back at Ignite's history, the people that have come through. You must be really proud to see people like Serpentico and Kylan King and Wesley.
We don't like that snake. We don't talk about him no more. He left it. We like the human better. No, I mean, I was fortunate to Leo did our show right after doing the Ring of Honor. I always forget the name, the Young Prospects.
Yes. Yep.
He had just won that. Desmond, I learned about Desmond from Lindsay Dorado and John Cruz. They introduced me to Desmond. And I said to Desmond, and I still stick to this, Desmond, Xavier, Wesley, whatever you want to call him this week, is a person you can build a company around. And the funny part is he did, I think, 3 shows for me, and he always lost. But I loved him, and I wanted to build around him, but he left Florida and went back to Ohio. Mm-hmm. So he came back a couple months later with Dave Christ and Zachary Wentz, who is now Nash Carter. So I had the opportunity to do a show with I had Desmond Xavier wrestling John Cruz and Zachary Wentz wrestling Danny Burch, who was Martin Stone at the time.
Yep.
So, I mean, I've had some people that, and Kennedy Brink, who is Jessica Carr, the referee, wrestled Lacey Lane, who is now Caden Carter, in that same show. And people don't realize we're here, and they don't realize the people that are coming through our company. And I figured it out one day. There were 60 people that have worked for me in 20 shows that have been on television at some point, dark or otherwise.
Yeah. And I think that's what's nice about the Rewind shows is that you can show that off, right? Yeah. You can you celebrate Ignite's history, and in fact, these stars on national broadcast television, their history as well.
Yeah, I wanted to do something different than just like a top 10. I start to do stuff, and I do all the video editing, and I actually forgot to broadcast last night because I thought it was Wednesday. So I totally missed my own broadcast, which was kind of embarrassing because my husband was like at 10 o'clock. He goes, "Aren't you going to do Rewind?" And I was like, "Tomorrow." And he goes, "I thought you did it on Thursday." I went,
I did notice that was the last one was 2 weeks.
I know, but we started the trivia thing, and as a break, because I was fighting. I used StreamYard, and I was having mic issues trying to narrate. So I kind of silenced myself and just played the matches, and then pop in the trivia, a little trivia game between the matches, and we started putting trivia on the thing. And people love the trivia, actually. I get a lot of feedback on the trivia because people don't realize that Rachel Ellering worked for us. They don't realize, that this person worked for us. And they don't realize that, like, Camilla Kane, Brickhouse, did two cameos for us. Well, she actually speared somebody in a match. And then another match, she was sitting ringside, and John Cruz stole her hat, wore her hat. She had this big floppy hat and wrestled in her hat the entire match.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So much to dig up if you just if you follow Rewind on the Ignite YouTube channel. So we were talking before the show went on the air about your hot sauce. This is you have a bottle there? Perfect.
I actually have like a dozen bottles. I have like 48 bottles. But yeah, it just arrived yesterday, and I've been trying to get it back in stock, and they finally got it back. It's a nice little garlic habanero, 50,000 Scoville little thing. New label. It is the same. It doesn't look like the same label if you look back on our social, but when I rebranded, I changed my little lucha guy. I had a different lucha, and he evolved. So this one actually somebody. I'll hold it up.
Is this the right one, Kim? Because I have that.
That's the right one. That's the right one. Somebody thought that I modeled that after Leon Scott, and I was like, no, I didn't. But he does kind of look like Leon Scott.
So there's there it is. So Inferno, it makes, when I was like, man, that's a really interesting thing for a pro wrestling company to market and brand, but Ignite Inferno, it makes sense to me now.
I mean, I got trading cards, actually, I'm putting every random trading card onto our website now that I have I'm probably going to just bring them to the show and just lay them on the table and have people buy them. I got 4 years of random trading cards that we've done because we're on our 4th, going into our 5th series of trading cards. So it's kind of like, please take these trading cards. They're in my way.
Absolutely. And then the other thing that you've been unboxing, as long as we're going through the merch and stuff, is you have t-shirts and things. And I have a picture here. You have on the far right, there's this Ignite Grunge, I think is how you refer to it, the lettering on there.
Yeah, the grunge words.
I'm curious about your design process for these too, because these are really creative. And there's also in that same Ignite Grunge, you have an indie grunge as well. So how do you come up with these various t-shirt designs?
The Ignite Lucha was designed for me by I had a company that did that. The grunge words in that I designed those. The I Love Indie Wrestling one with and if you look really close, it has little tiny lucha masks on it on the one. Yep. I designed all of those. I do all the graphics. The only ones that I haven't done is like the 2 lucha guys. Mm-hmm. One was done by the Doodle and Dork Jose Monty Hernandez did that one, and then Vexels. I bought one design off of Vexels and bought the rights to it.
Well, very good. So I guess I meant to ask you before. So we're coming up on Fierce.
Yes.
And it's going to be your 2nd event during this COVID times. And I just wondering, how do you feel about the situation now as opposed to the last one? We talked last time about, the things that you had to do with the sanitation stations and the temperature checks and all that stuff. How do you think things have progressed since then? And in terms of just the world being ready for this type of thing? And actually, how are you seeing seeing things turn out for this second show?
With so many people vaccinated, I'm not saying that they can't get COVID, but it gives us a little more peace of mind. Mm-hmm. The venue's attendance is definitely up at their events because I've been to like several events there. We're still doing the same protocols. We're still temp checking the workers. We're still requiring COVID tests. We still have sanitation. I kind of changed it up a little bit. Now they have to give it to me. I have to see it prior to the event. I can't do it at the day of the show. We had a little with that last show with people that didn't quite do what they were supposed to do. But I think it's gonna be big. Today is, what is today? The 30th?
Yes.
We have 2 weeks of TV commercials going as well. So we're expecting to see a big bump in attendance on this show. We're in, sorry, I'm going to lean over here. Yeah, I'm going to lean over here real gracefully too. If I fall out of my chair, don't laugh. But, we're like in Vero Beach Flash. We're in the May calendar. We're in their email blasts. We're in a couple other publications. We've got 208 commercials that'll air over the next 2 weeks. Plus, I think we might have something on Hulu. I don't remember. I know I have impressions somewhere. I'm thinking it's either Hulu or Comcast on apps. I've lost your sound.
There you go.
There.
I hit the mute button on accident. I said so the marketing department at Ignite is very busy. All right.
Oh yeah. I wait a second. Let me get the marketing department. Oh wait, here I am.
Marketing, graphics.
Marketing, it is pretty much me. We had somebody that helped us from the community college before, but with COVID, I can't have them. Yeah. I can't have them here. So other than my husband, and we're not even doing a lot of posters out in person. We do have like the little mini flyers that are out, the little postcards. Mm-hmm. We have those out like in mom and pop stores, but we're really not out. walking into every business and hanging a poster like we used to do. Simply, I just don't want to. It's mainly me that does it, and my husband helps some on it on the weekends, but I just don't want to be out there walking into all these places. And we were fortunate. We got a lot of sponsorship this show. People that are coming in, we get JD Sound Productions. We've got Keaton Collectibles are coming, Wrestling Warehouse, of course, the brewery, and somebody else. I just blanked. I'm not even going to say it because I'm going to say the wrong name. But we do have another one that has helped sponsor this show, which I usually don't do a lot of sponsors because it's usually a pain to find sponsors.
Mm. Well, let's talk about Fierce because it's exciting, right? We got the tag team tournament finally. This is like 2 years in the making or whatever. So, and you brought in 8 women to do the tournament. So,
do you know how hard it is to find 8 women that can get along and fight?
Get along and
I
fight.
couldn't say that. I'm joking. Aspen Rose is back. Holly Cromwell is back. And I was so fortunate to get Renee Michelle, who is Drake Maverick's wife.
Right.
And Sahara 7. And they're best friends. I did not know this until I started talking to them because I talked to Carly, Sahara first. And she was like, "Oh, Renee's my best friend." And then I talked to Renee. They have never worked together as a tag team. And that was one of the bucket lists. So I was able to give them a bucket list goal while they were both still active wrestlers that they're going to tag together, which I thought was way cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is so you're helping them achieve their mission as well. Kelsey Reagan and Chelsea Durden, Eliza Hayes and Savannah Thorne.
Savannah's fantastic. She was just on AEW. Eliza, everybody knows Eliza in Florida. She also is a referee. Kelsey and Chelsea are the dark horses of this whole show because Chelsea's she's phenomenal. And Kelsey is trained by the Dudley Boys. I remember when she first started training, I would see her training videos when she was learning her moves with John Cruz. And then she went down and worked with Gangrel for a while. Now she's back up at the Dudley School again. But she's phenomenal. I mean, that girl can do it all. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be interesting because we're going to do 2 prelim matches and a final match. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to pick who's wrestling who. That's going to go into one of those randomizers online, and it's going to pick who's facing who.
Okay, that is interesting. I was going to ask you because you announced the 4 teams, but not the brackets. So
I'm not picking the brackets. I'm going to let a randomizer pick the brackets. Because I don't want people to say that I stacked it or No, I have a randomizer program that's going to actually pick it and it'll pop up who's going to do it.
Is that going to happen like at the show or is that something that
it's going to be done the week before?
Okay.
Next week, in 1 week. In 1 week we'll announce the actual brackets.
Okay.
But it's going to be a video and it's going to populate. We'll show it populate and then announce the actual brackets.
Okay. And you also have a championship match with Leon versus Victor Andrews. So Leon won the title at the last show in that match with Kylan King that you mentioned.
Yeah, he's waiting for his new title. He's very happy.
So I guess he's such an interesting character. And what do you think? What does his crowning as champion represent for Ignite? You think like this era, so to speak?
Old school. Leon's been around for like 18 years, and he's wrestled WCW. He's done tags. Leon's done a lot of things under a lot of different names, and I feel that he brings us a lot of legitimacy to the title. Because he can do it all. He can hardcore. He can work. He can wrestle. He's not just one type of wrestler. He can adapt, and he's a monster. And I love a heel, and everybody knows I love a heel.
He definitely has presence too when he
Oh God,
when he
yes.
comes out. It kind of like, he's got a little face paint, and he's got the whole wardrobe and everything, and the tone changes a little bit when he walks through. So
Yeah, when he comes out and gives that yell, I mean, the whole building blows up.
yes,
And
yeah.
Victor, I love Victor. I've known Victor for 5 years, actually 6. Victor worked for us in one of our first 3 shows, second or third show. And we've just had, between scheduling and him being on other shows and distance, we've tried to have him back. One show, he was stuck behind a wreck in St. Augustine for 3 hours.
Oh gosh.
Couldn't get to the venue. And he's been all over the country. He's been dark matches on Raw. He played Sheldon Benjamin's sister in drag on Raw. But he's just this phenomenal guy, and he's bringing his secret weapon with him, which is his son, Roam. And if you look, you'll see him and his son, and they're in little matching outfits. Mm-hmm. And his kid is a bigger personality than anyone on my roster. That kid is phenomenal. So I'm like tickled. I've never met Roam. He's another one of I call them my wrestle babies, because they keep having babies, but with COVID and travel, I never get to meet the kids. So I know them through social. So I'm finally going to get to meet his little boy after 5 years.
Oh, fun. And then you've also announced a whole bunch of, Mosh and Mayhem are going to be there, which we saw. We saw Ozzy, right? We saw him at the last show.
That was Ozzy's like 9th or 10th match he's ever had. And to go against Robert Martyr, it was a phenomenal match. He's been working Gangrel's shows with Beast. And our venue, and I have to say this, Walking Tree Brewery bartenders love the Beast. They're huge Beastly fans. And every time I walk in there, that's the first question they ask: when's the Beast coming back? So, he just happened to say, yeah, I'm going to be at the show. And I was like, did I book you? I'd like to book you. I hadn't even booked him. I thought I had, and I hadn't. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to let you tag with Ozzy. Okay. I love him to death. He's great. But he's one of those guys that's kind of shows up and jumps in and steals the show. He's a show stealer. He really is.
Right.
He had that phenomenal match with Justin Blatz and Timmy Lou Retton at the last show, that triple threat. Mm-hmm. I mean, people don't realize how good Beastly really is. He's phenomenal.
And so, which one of these is the women's tag finals? Is that going to be your main event, or is it the?
It's going to be. It should be the main. It should be. It's going to be the main or the semi-main. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the main event, because I have to give the girls a break between matches.
Of course, yeah.
To space it out, so it's probably going to be the main event. Leon and Victor will probably be the semi-main. Mm-hmm. And of course we've got Tech, and Tech is taking on Task Force, and that's their debut. Okay. And Task Force is mad because they want to be in the women's tournament, and I won't let them, because they want all the belts. And they've been on me. If you watch my social, they're on me on social that I'm discriminating against them, and I won't let them have all the belts. So no, they're not getting in that women's tournament. And then, of course, we got that classic tag team coming back. They're taking on Mosh and Mayhem.
Perfect.
Which will be a phenomenal match, because that's 2 sets of characters in the same match. So that's going to be a good one.
Right. That classic tag team was on the 5th anniversary show. They were a lot of fun.
They're always a lot of fun, and they're from the Dudley School. I've known these guys. They've been with me on and off since the first year. And of course Kiko Harris always brings his gorgeous girlfriend, and I have fans though that are more excited about his girlfriend being there than him. So like, is he bringing his girlfriend back? Yeah, she'll be sitting there. We'll be sitting at the next table. Don't stare at her.
Well, I'm excited. It should be a great show. That's May 15th at Walking Tree Brewery, right?
And there's other matches. That's not all of them. And I have a guy coming in that used to be part of the Lifeguards tag team back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. The 90s and the early 2000s. Coach Jim Teacher. And he's going to bring the discipline to Ignite.
Okay.
He's from here on the Treasure Coast. He's another treasure. Him and Ozzy Kilmeister both live here, somewhere between Stewart and Port St. Lucie area. So we're bringing in some local talent. So.
Oh, that's fun. You have announced some other. I think you announced Storm Thomas as well, right?
Storm Thomas and Del Springs.
Yeah.
Storm Thomas is somebody that we wanted to work with for several years. I met him at a cancer Warriors for Wrestling, or I can't remember the name of it, but I met him at a con and they had a wrestling match, and he was there wrestling Billy Gunn, and I met him and just fell in love with him and his wife. I mean, they're fantastic. And Del Springs is a jerk. He's a phenomenal wrestler, but he is a golf club elitist, golf playing jerk from Louisiana area. He come out of Elevate. He's one of the Elevate Pro champions, and I don't remember which belt. And they'll probably yell at me later because I forgot the name of the belt. But he's one of their multiple champions. They have several champions over there, and he's just one of those young guys that I've wanted to work with. That is just such a heel. Mm-hmm. And he's very young and hungry to come to Florida, and it's just like, I couldn't pick anybody better than him. The other person we were going to bring in was injured, so I was going to bring a couple, but a lot of injuries, a lot of illness, a lot of injuries. So
yeah, is there? I guess not to move off of Fierce, but I guess before we leave, I do want to ask you: is there any wrestling show that you watch with regularity? Maybe you're scouting talent or just seeing what the nationals are doing, or
I watch AEW.
Okay.
I watch Dark. Well, because I have so many friends on Dark. I watched Dark more than anything. I rarely watch Impact. And I hate to say that, I rarely watch Impact, mainly because I can never. There's something else that's on at the same time of Impact. Occasionally I watch Raw, but the thing is, I can't use anybody that works for Raw.
Right.
I can use Impact workers. I can use Ring of Honor workers. I can use the AEW. Some of the AEW workers. So Renee Michelle's currently on Dark. Savannah's been on Dark. Kylan's been on Dark. Task Force has been on Dark. A lot of the Florida wrestlers have been on Dark, and it's kind of a nice place to look. Mm-hmm. And Mission Pro. I watch a lot of Mission Pro's shows. Some of the Ring of Honor stuff because I have friends at Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. But I watch that more on YouTube than I do anything. The Ring of Honor.
Sure. Yeah, it is interesting. I wondered if you were going to say Dark because of the connections there. So,
okay. Honestly, I started watching Dark because of John Cruz, and then thank God Serpentico came along. I have to watch every week just to see what Luther's going to do to Serpentico.
I know, it's fun.
And he's such a character, and he's such a good friend of ours, and we love him to death. And Kylan, we know Red Velvet, we know Catalina. She's worked for us. Perez, Dream Girl Ellie. We're just going to meet Savannah. I haven't met Savannah yet, but she's worked Dark as well. A lot of these girls I haven't got to meet because I've never met Renee in person. I've never met Savannah. I've never met Sahara. I know them from other shows, from watching them.
Yep. Well, perfect. I'm excited for the 15th. I'm excited for the show. I hope everybody else is too. And Fierce is the name, and it's at Walking Tree Brewery on May 15th. Kim, why don't you tell everybody where they can get all the information on Fierce and on the hot sauce and everything?
All of our social media is at Ignite Wrestling. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitch. Catch us on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/C Ignite Wrestling, and Roku. And you can see, I believe, the Chaos Show is on Fire TV on Amazon.
Okay. I will tell some folks about some other things that are going on, then we'll come back to Kim and we'll wrap up. So I want to encourage people to, on Friday nights, check out the Primetime Rundown with Joey Jarzanka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca. They'll take you through the world of sports. The show kicks off at 6 p.m. on the Eastern Observer. And then the Essential Wrestling Podcast, that's on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. El Carl hosts that, and I come along with a band of other folks, and we do a week of updates and highlights in the world of wrestling. Again, that's 6 p.m. on the Eastern Observer. And then this show, the Daily Wrestling News Show, is here every day, usually Monday through Thursday. But when we have a great interview like this one, we come at you on Fridays as well. So here we are. So do tune in every day on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you need to watch video. And you can get it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and everything else if you're driving up and down the road and want to listen to some talk on wrestling. So with that behind us, Kim, I'm really excited for Ignite Wrestling's May 15th show, Fierce. You've indicated a couple times that, a September show is coming. Do you have the dates for that too?
September 18th, Walking Tree Brewery. And I do know that we're going to have 2 debuts that I will tell you. Mr. Grimm is coming, and Sawyer Wreck will be making her Ignite debut.
Okay. So you have enough to look forward to with the May 15th show. And then you can even mark that in September date in your calendar for the next Ignite show as well. So Kim, thank you so much for being here. Purple hair and all the new championships.
Me and my belts. I'm in my happy place. I told my husband probably in about 3 days I'll stop grinning so much, but I'm so ready.
Well, like I said, I'm excited. And I guess for Kim, I'm Ryan, and we will see you next time on the Daily Wrestling News Show or at Walking Tree Brewery. So thanks, everybody, and catch you later.